when the world's too dark of a place to be, and you need an escape from reality. Open up those pages, it's sci-fi or fantasy, whatever genre you please. And join a book club, 'cause you won't read it on your own. Join a book club, so you'll be held accountable. It's just a means to an end, but you're doing it with your friends, so join the book club by DLC.
Hello there, book clubbers. Welcome back. Well, welcome back to us. We were the ones who were gone. Maybe you were gone. I don't know. I don't know what you're up to, but I hope it was great. We're back, and that's the most important part. Hopefully you got a chance to dance while we were gone. I'm Jeff Kanata. I'm here with Lana Bachynski. Hi, Lana.
Hello. And let me tell you, I was gone, had a little break, but I, at the first time ever, ran into one of y'all in the wild. So I just want to say hello, Jeff, another book clubber. I was out at a restaurant playing some games with some pals, and somebody came over and asked if I was Lana Bachynski, and they watched the book club, and it's clearly made my whole 2 weeks because I'm still thinking about it. So
That's wonderful.
Hi, Jeff. And thanks for saying hi.
Hi, Jeff. Thank you for watching. Thanks for saying hi. You know, I've often gotten that question. People have said, do I come up if I see you someplace? Do I come up and say, yes, say hi. We love to say hi. Please say hi.
Mhm.
It's a wonderful thing if you see us out in the world. You know, I'm rarely out in the world. So just being out is pretty special.
We're basically cryptids, so you should,
That's right.
add it to your logbook.
That's right. Anyway, hey, we got 2 big chapters this week. Actually, they're not that big. They're kind of small chapters, but interesting chapters. 13 and 14 of Dust of Dreams. We will get into that shortly. But first, we love to start the show with a non-spoiler topic sent in by you to dlcfeedback@gmail.com. It's always a delight to get questions from folks, so please keep them coming. Topics to start the show, always fun. We have one this week that came in from Steve from New Zealand. Steve says, this is a very niche, nerdy question, but this feels like the right group to ask it of. I'm currently playing through Avowed with my character modeled after Karsa Orlong. After? Did I just say after? My character modeled after Karsa Orlong. English, not my strong suit. He's a great fit for this because his decisions often sit outside the typical total pacifist or murder all the puppies morality spectrum. In tabletop or video games where you are creating a playable or non-playable character, do you ever take explicit inspiration from a character in works of fiction, books, films, television? If the answer is no and you're a weirdo, then this will be a short discussion. Thanks again for the incredible work you're doing with this read-along, Steve. Thanks for the question, Steve. Very interesting one. I have certainly created lots of characters, and as I'm sure you have over time, Lana, do you ever explicitly model them after a character that you love from some fictional work?
It was actually a recommendation to me for the first time that I was going to play D&D. I played when I was a kid, but my brother ran all the sheets and did all the things, and I was so little that I wasn't really registering that there was anything other than imagination happening. But as an adult, I was like, I don't like. I felt like I had choice paralysis for all of the things that my character could possibly be, and trying to be like, what's like something that I feel would be cool to do. I had a really hard time honing that in because I was just like too excited. I was too jazzed about it. And so somebody was like, for your first time, if it helps you make decisions and know how to know what decisions your character would or would not do versus it just being your brain in the thing or trying to be something so different from yourself, picking a character that you like. So my D&D character that I've been playing for 7 years now is Daniel Jackson, not to be confused with Daniel Jackson, Dr. Daniel Jackson from Stargate, who is
awesome.
An archaeologist, deeply cares about people and what's right. Daniel Jackson is a little different. It's a rogue gnome But she loves languages and loves learning on people. But we're doing like sneaky dungeon stuff and trying to solve mysteries and crimes, and so it's a little bit different than what it is hard to talk about them both. What Daniel Jackson is in the show, but as like the starting point, it made it a lot easier to sort of like get into character and feel like I could be in the world without getting confused. So I think it's a great way for people who are trying to do any kind of role playing game for the first time and don't necessarily feel comfortable like being like silly or like trying to figure out something that's beyond themselves. Is like, well,
Right.
you might not know what your like vulnerable character you created was, but you're like, I could be Elmo.
Yeah.
I could be Karsa. That's like a great way to sort of go about it.
I've never heard that little technique before, but I think that's brilliant, especially if you're jumping into role playing for the first time. What a great idea, because even with movies or TV show characters, as you showed, you're sort of inside, them, you are familiar with them. And especially with novels, you're inside the brain of the character oftentimes. And you're so familiar, especially if these are your favorite characters, you're so familiar with the kinds of things they would do, the way they behave. That's such a great little hack, for getting past some of that intimidation factor. I think that's a brilliant. I've never heard that before.
And the character will inevitably become your own because the situations they face are not, by the end, you're not like, I guess I'm still Neo. I'm the one,
Right.
They will be forever changed by the world that you are having them experience.
It's funny. I, when in playing tabletop games, I'm often trying to create very distinct characters, but when I play video games, I really always try to play as me. It's funny.
That's fascinating.
Is that weird? Is that narcissistic? I don't know.
I don't think it's weird. I think that is so many people do that, but I guess I play it as somebody that I'm like, I wish that were me. I play as like a absolutely shredded woman.
Yes.
So
I mean, when I say me, I mean, what if I was transported into this fantasy scenario where I can do all this amazing stuff? I'm not trying to be.
I'm trying to be like a little devious goblin person.
I'm sore this morning. I'm sorry.
But like the attitude is always like devious goblin in the body of a absolutely shredded woman.
Yeah, I think it's cool. People, I played Skyrim, but I played it as a evil whatever, or I imagined myself. I never do that. I always am trying to, what if I was in that situation? What would I do? Who would I, what faction would I pick? It's always what I'm trying to. It's weird.
I feel like at least like playing video games, some of like the choices that they make you make, at least like early on, I'm thinking about like Infamous. You'd go, and if I was like playing as me, it's like, you want to be good or do you want to be bad? If you're good, you have to do this like pretty laborious battle to save this one random citizen. And if you're bad, you just walk away and keep doing whatever you wanted to do in the game instead. I'm like, I guess I'm bad.
No, I'm laborious battle. I'm sorry. I will.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yes.
But it wasn't mechanically like enjoyable enough for me to care about that battle, to interrupt where I was going.
That is the only like pure role playing that I can't help but do, is like, I'm gonna spend the extra 6 hours in the game to not upset anyone.
Oh.
I just want everyone to be nice. And the games that are most interesting to me, like like the first Dragon Age, or there's other examples, the most interesting games are the ones where there isn't a clear right choice. Like I always criticize Mass Effect, for example, as being so much less interesting because it's like Paragon or Vanguard. Paragon gets you X number of points, Vanguard gets you Y number of points. And it just felt like I wasn't actually challenged. I'm like, well, I'm a Paragon and I want to maximize my points. So none of the choices I'm actually making, I'm just selecting the Paragon one because that's what I decided I was going to be. Rather than when there's games where it's like, hey, you can help the dwarves, but it's going to screw over the elves. Or you can help the elves, but it's going to screw over the dwarves. And then I'm like, but I want to help everybody.
Yeah.
It makes it much more interesting because now you're in an actual moral quandary.
Yeah.
But anyway, none of that is answering this question, which is
Yeah, sorry, we're off on the weeds of how
yeah.
we play video games now.
Right.
You fell into the trap.
I don't do that, although I very much do steal names. Like when there's an awesome fantasy name, and of course Malazan is just full of them. I mean, I can't even tell you how many Ersto Hubuts I've been in the last few video games I've played. Ersto Hubuts all over my video game character names. And for a long time, you know, when I was first reading Song of Ice and Fire back in the day, even before the TV show happened, I just thought the name Vargo Hote was so cool. Was such a cool. It's just like Vargo Hote, even though he's a totally gross character in that series. I named a lot of my characters Vargo. Just a cool name, Vargo Hote. You know, I'll steal names willy nilly because it's you know, especially when you put in the names that you always use and they're taken or something. You're like, now what do I do? I don't know. What's a cool name I know? You know,
I'm always just like, I'm going to start with a letter, and what is the dumbest sounding thing I can create? I think my last character's name was Scrimpy.
Scrimpy,
just scrimping around.
I always play every Legend of Zelda game because they let you change Link's name in Legend of Zelda games. I don't know why this is, but it's been for decades of my life. I always play every Legend of Zelda game as Bobo.
Oh,
Bobo. I don't know. I don't know why Bobo.
You're like, what's going on with who's this Link fella?
Yeah. Hey, listen, Bobo.
We need Zelda. Bobo. Find me, Bobo.
Find me, Bobo. It tickles me for some reason. Anyway, great. That's our answer to that question ish.
Meandering, the meander.
But we appreciate you, Steve. Thank you for sending it in. If you have a question, if you're sitting there going, you know what, I'd like to see Jeff and Lana not answer my question and wander into some strange topic, send it to us. dlcfeedback@gmail.com. All right. Let's jump into chapter 13 of Dust of Dreams. Spoilers starting now. Lana, these two chapters I think were interesting to me in that I felt like both of them had a lot of very dense information about a lot of sub-factions that I'm interested in, but are sort of newish, and there's a lot of intense information that I sort of let wash over me. And then in each chapter, there's like one scene that just made the whole chapter galvanized around that scene and just went, oh, that's the scene that I read this chapter for. Interesting.
I felt the exact, I mean, you used the exact language I would have used. These are chapters that I was like, all right, I'm digesting, but we're moving through sort of this space to like learn about it to get to that point. I think that you put it exactly as I experienced it as well.
Well, I say that mostly to tell the audience I'm probably going to get a lot of stuff wrong here because I felt like this is a lot of new, very dense information. We start with Silchus talking to Rud Alael mostly about Draconis. And Silchus has some opinions about Draconis. It's very odd that we just like are dropped into these two characters we haven't seen in a minute. It's like, oh yeah, these two characters are super important, but they're like talking about a third character.
They're going between Draconis and Udanas.
Yeah,
it's like the daddies of the world.
This is true. It's true. And I don't know, like you get the sense that Silchus might not even be right about some of this stuff. You know, as is often the case with Malazan, you have characters who are expressing very opinionated things that are kind of new viewpoints to the reader, but also might be throwing the reader off the real truth of it. You know, like the objective truth of it is these are very subjective opinions, you know? Anyway, interesting nonetheless. But basically saying, I mean, I thought the juiciest stuff here was him saying to Rud, you're super important. You're gonna have to make a decision as to which side of this upcoming war you are on. It might not be the same side I, Silchus Ruin, am on. And if it comes to it, if it comes to that, where we're on opposite sides, one of us gonna die. So it's like, hey, it's so fun. It's so nice just to sit down and have a chat with you, young lad. I know your father. I knew your mother. We might kill each other someday. You know, it's a delightful little fireside chat.
Mm-hmm. It's very interesting that there's the conversation about like Root is feeling, I feel like, a little bit displaced.
Yeah.
Because he's like, they like so willingly like sent me away and like gave me up. And like my mom cared more about like sort of, I'm going to forget the perfect words for it, like vengefulness or like her own desires or whatever.
Yeah.
And then still just being like, yeah, but that just be dragons.
Yeah, dragons be dragons, yo.
They care about themselves. As soon as you go into dragon form, you're like, it's everything I want time, which is interesting. Sort of like thematically about like dragons having like a dragon horde or being like selfish. The fact that they're like, that's just one of our traits.
Yeah.
Interesting sort of displacement of him being like special, but being like kind of just want to like hang out with my family, I guess.
Well, also he says you have a real name. Rude isn't your name. It's like, oh, Rude isn't my real name. Your real name is Riyadh Elias, which means hands of fire. Mm-hmm. That seems important. Also, doesn't he say something about his blood being on fire? Oh no, that's sin later. Yeah, sorry, I got confused. But yes, hands of fire seems pretty important. Also, he names the autotral dragon, I believe, for the first time.
I believe so too.
Carabas.
Yeah.
Carabas, the autotral dragon, and really, this whole which side are you on is like which side of the should we wake up the autotral dragon argument.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is interesting because like some people want to free her, I think.
Her.
Yeah. And I think Silchus is in the let's bring the autotral dragon back camp, right? And he's not sure but Root is like, I think I want to do that. Also interesting tidbits about Draconis, saying Draconis wears the skin of the Tistendi and might be a true Elent, might be a true dragon boy. Mm-hmm. But like wore the skin of a Tistendi for a time, which makes me believe that he can wear other skins.
Makes me believe that my guess about that one guy being Duiker is wrong.
Well, we find that out, I think, pretty quick later too, because Duiker actually shows up, right?
Yeah, but I also thought it before he showed up, so I had a good connection before we spoiled it. There's something that he said. I'm trying to find it now. This one, like, it is so dense. I feel like I keep my Kindle down here, but I'm like trying to reference particular things. There's one thing that he was talking about with like the fire in his hands being significant. Yeah. And then talking about like fire being like the heart of something and can be good, but it also like showing destruction, obviously. So he's like, hands of fire. Like, doesn't that mean I'm like a tough guy because I can do these things? And he's like, maybe. Don't let it go to your head.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's some talk of like why Animander killed Draconis. There's a lot of I think a lot of
little deets,
veiled things that I think are going to come to light eventually, but are like the hints at stuff. Yeah. Interesting scene. But then they just like turn into dragons and fly off.
Yeah, they turn into dragons, but they're also like so beautiful.
Yeah.
Rude being like this, literally the golden child.
Yeah. Anyway, fire hands, shall we fly? Let's fly. And they just
because they're going to somewhere that they can only access by veering.
What's the Imperial Warren, right? It's that they're going into the Imperial Warren. I think.
Calor's. It was Calor's dead Warren.
Right. I think
Whatever
that's
that is.
the one.
Yeah.
All right, so the next few scenes are Sandalath and Withal and their Nocts. And I really enjoy their dynamic. Although she seems like she's got something going on. She's getting a little crazed.
Testy.
Yeah. And poor Withal is just like, baby, what am I supposed to do? He's like, I kind of gotta go. I kind of got poop. Like I kind of got poop. And she's like, well, wash your hands. Very funny. So there's a lot of so I think they're kind of on the trail of the
shake.
Yes. Yeah. And blind Glan or Galen, we're kind of expressing some doubt about whether following a blind man was a good idea.
Yeah.
Which is, I think intentionally hilarious. But
the blind Galan is like, because it's like the shake we're talking about, the road to Galan,
right?
And then blind Galan is like, how you get there is you have to be kind of blind about it. That's like the name of the journey to get to Galan. You have to sort of be blind and be led blindly.
But isn't
why it's called
blind
that?
Galan a person
or a place?
I think so.
So there's blind Galan and the road to Galan, or they just named Galan after the blind guy?
That latter thing you said is what I took, but I could be
you're
very wrong.
I think you're right. Again, the details washed over me, and I'm like, I'll put this together later.
Right.
It would be less embarrassing to put it together before I got here, but I'm here to be vulnerable. I'm here.
That's what we both are. This is what we do.
Yeah. Either way, they're like, see, whatever this journey is like a bad idea of how to get to this place.
They both also understand that it takes ND blood to open the road, which we already know because Yantovis is literally being bled
dry.
Yeah, right. And they're gonna like. It's very funny when they're like, "Okay, where are we gonna go?" And Withal's like, "I should probably go to the bathroom first."
Yeah. No, even if you don't have to, everybody should try.
That's what my dad used to call saving a trip.
Yeah.
Everybody save a trip, and I still say that to my kids. Withal, save a trip because we're not going to be able to come back. This is what we do now. We have an opportunity now. So they go through, and they see the Nocts have transformed into giant Vanath demons.
Pretty cool.
And they're just like bam, 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 bam on the top of a Forkula sail body.
So they're like peeling open the same path that Yantovis and crew went through. They're like, we have no idea what's going to be on the other side. And they immediately go through, and Sandalath, I think, gets out there, and then Withal follows, but immediately his horse's head gets chopped off by a hand. And he's like, like falls over his horse. He's covered in blood. Sandalath for 1 minute is like, oh, my love. Oh, this is too much blood. Oh, I can't believe this. And he's like, oh, it's my horse's blood. I'm fine. And she's like, you idiot.
I know, it's so funny.
Get up. Never do that to me again.
Oh, no, you're dead. He's like, it's not my blood. I hate you.
Yeah. And then him getting up and being like, somebody chopped my horse's head off with their hand? It's very interesting to see little spikes of Forkula sail, like people talking about the Forkula sail and then seeing one and being like, I've heard you're a freaky beast. And then seeing like 1 second of it doing something crazy, but it's immediately dead because the knots all transform into the demons and are beating it to death with the makeshift club that Withal was talking about. Like he was just like thinking about being like a blacksmith and being like, that could be a pretty good weapon.
Well, it's also funny when she's like, could the Nocts always do that? Could they, like, the whole time they were divers or soul taken?
I love that they're like, we don't know if they were Nocts first and then like possessed or turned into demons, if they're demons that are choosing to embody the bodies of Nocts, but then they like run ahead and are still like their little trio, but now they're freaky demons and they're like, well, they're still idiots, whatever it is.
Yeah. Or like adorable little companions could have turned into giant Forkula sail defeating demons. All right. Okay, cool, I guess.
Good thing we're friends.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So they're sort of on the trail of the Shake, and they're worried about Nimander and all that group. And then, okay, so then we head over to our friends, the saddest children of all.
just another quick aside with the sad snake crew.
Just in case you were worried that they somehow weren't still incredibly sad. They are.
You gotta laugh through the pain.
You really do. I pulled a section of this because I found it so beautiful, but it is talking about the power of words, and we have like the ding 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 moment. You know, you have when they say the title of the movie in the movie. You know, ding 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 ding. Yeah, we hear the Fallen, Book of the Fallen. Maybe we should write this down into, I don't know, some sort of Book of the Fallen, which was cool. Very cool moment for me. I'm like, she's like, how long do you think that would be? Like tens of thousands of pages. I'm like, I know.
Approximately. Yeah.
Very cool.
I also just love the way that they sort of talk about each other. The one girl, the Badal, referencing the other guy as always saying, who remembers everything? This guy who remembers everything.
Yep.
That is so poetic because she's a poet, but it's also so childlike in a way to be like, that's that kid who remembers everything.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, also, and she's talking about how the adults like don't get it, don't care. Mm-hmm. As I said, I pulled this section, so I'll read it, but it's so beautiful, and it is so haunting, this notion that really resonates right now with literally children being murdered in the world, you know, like that's happening on the global stage. So I felt like it's incredibly prescient, and maybe not even prescient, just always relevant. So yeah, I thought that was a very powerful scene, but man, these poor kids, like it's just relentlessly bleak.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So then we're back to Kalyth, who is having a dream. She's in this vision. This is the scene for me of chapter 13 where I was like, yes, this is the scene that made the whole chapter sort of work for me. Because we get some old friends who swing by her vision. She's in the world of death. She's in the, I don't know, the the underworld of death.
Yeah,
and
it's not Hood's realm; it's their realm now.
Right.
Yeah,
that is the coolest part. I think is that we saw Hood get dispatched,
get chopped.
That's right. And who is replacing Hood as the gatekeeper of death? Our old boys,
Bridgeburner's baby,
and Dujack and Mallet and those kids.
Did I say Duiker earlier? I meant Dujack. Sorry.
Maybe. If so, I didn't catch it either. But I knew who you meant. Old One Arm himself. So yes, Dujack is there. Whiskey Jack is there. Mallet is there. All the people we've seen die, and we saw, you know, in the sort of battle in the world of death, you know, being leaders. They're still there, and now they've got this new, what do you call? I think a post. The bridge burners have been posted at Hood's gate. One last posting, he says, it's what we do as bridge burners, which I thought was so cool. It's just awesome to see these characters back and sort of having a new purpose and having this duty, you know, the duty that we've seen them be holding to. They've got a new one, and I think that's pretty awesome. And I also think that there's lots of ramifications for what they're talking about.
Yeah. And also consistently awesome to see basically anybody going up into former or current bridge burners and being like, they sure are like irreverent to each other. Like even Kalyth being like, look, I'm just like I didn't want to be destriant here, but like it seems like there's like, it's not disrespect, but something's going on that I vibe with. Yeah.
Also, Whiskey Jack says, hey, you will find your mortal sword. Have you found your mortal sword and shield anvil yet? She's like, nah, still haven't done that. He's like, you will. And that it will be important. I wanted to get the exact line, but I don't see it here. Something about like you have to use fire to defeat the cold or something like that. And I was like,
yeah.
okay, well, we just heard about the dude whose hands are fire.
Fire hands.
And also we know about Sin, who's going to come up shortly and be a big part
Fire
of like
baby.
fire in my blood. I went through Igatan's fire. Like, so I don't know which one of those, maybe both, because we got 2 positions to fill.
Yeah. But then to defeat the cold, it's like Jacob magic onto Felak bad. Like, am I being too literal? Is it literally fire and cold? I don't know, but I'm not writing it off.
Right. That's right. Anyway, also I love the thing where she's like, these Kachin Shamali, what they're like, do I trust them? They're so alien to me. And he's like, yeah, and you're alien to them.
And she's like,
drop the mic.
Good point.
She's like,
got me there.
But I think that is, basically the fundamental refrain of this series, which is like, compassion and just, everybody has their own subjective view of the world. And, the fact that we as readers get insight into all those lets us understand that everybody's alien to everybody else. We're all, in our own closed garden, and we're limited by our POVs in a lot of ways. And I think that's what's so beautiful about this series.
Everyone has different experiences and ways of understanding otherness compared to what they are.
Much better way of saying it. Thank you. So then there's a bunch of Kachin Shamali stuff that, again, is dense and I'm not entirely certain I followed specifically, but is compelling stuff because there's this new character, Kor Thuran, that I wasn't familiar with, but is dead, and that's bad.
I assume was like part of their troop.
Yes.
So we only talked to like Gunth, Mach, and the other ones.
Sag Chirac and
Chirac. Yeah.
Yes, but there's this other character, and Kalyth feels a little responsible for, not a little. She's, kind of.
They're defending her.
Yes.
Supposedly.
And that they are being hunted, which is crazy to me because, the Kachin Shamali have been the scary hunters, right? The Kel hunters, right? They are the ones that show up previously in the book and everyone gets slaughtered. And now there's something hunting them.
And in this book, they've done that where they can like literally mask everybody's senses. And they've got the one guy like literally eyes in the skies. They can have heat vision on. Like there's a bunch of things that they have that seem like massive advantages, that it's surprising that somebody could sneakily get them. That one person who had their whole group slaughtered of those women warriors, I'm like, is it that person? That person had some kind of magical ability.
Well, we find out that one of the characters that dies, this Rythok, before dying, struck something armored, biting into flesh beneath armor, but is killed by an axe, a giant axe.
Right.
So I'm like, what fights with a giant axe? What can kill Kachin Shamali with?
And there's like a whole like army of like actually chasing them too. It's like scouts, like axe wielding scouts from the
who?
I don't know.
I don't think that's Fulcral Sail because I don't feel like they fight with axes.
They chop.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't get it yet. I think that there's probably enough clues to get it by now, but I feel like I have not gotten it.
Yeah. I feel like there's so many deets in this chapter that it was one of those spaces where I'm like, I know I should know.
Yeah.
I know I should know. I don't.
But then 14 undead Jagged show up. Like, hey, what's up, bros? Which is awesome. I love seeing Jagged.
Well, they show up the last bit of the conversation that Kalyth had in her vision with the undead bridge burners. They're like,
Yeah.
call upon us. You'll
Yeah.
know when, and you can do that.
Anytime, just call us. Call anytime.
And Kalyth, they're basically fleeing because they don't believe
Right.
that they can win whatever battle is upon them at that moment.
Yeah.
But they continue to like sacrifice one Kachin Jamal at a time to be like, I'll hold them off to like gain you more distance. And she's like, please don't do that. I have a strategy and it will work, but you got to trust me. It's going to be fine. And she's like, yo, bridge burners, I think now's the time. I didn't expect it to be immediate, but it's now.
Yeah.
So can you do it? And they like send the undead Jagged,
Yeah.
which is like these two we know are like previously warring factions.
Yeah. Right.
And so she's like, trust me. Look, they're already dead. Just, you got to trust me. And they're like, are you sure? Because it sure seems like people we should kill.
Yeah.
She's like, you got to. Please, 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 please. And she's begging them to let her see the enemy because they are blocking her senses from even knowing what's around. So she just knows that they're freaked out. And she's like, something's happening, but they're blocking me.
And we get the POV of Sag-Tarak, who's like, we fought the Jagged, but we never saw them as our enemy.
Yeah.
So there's all these long-standing things that happen, and I love how in the series you always get that like, well, but it wasn't as clear cut as that.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't as black and white. We never saw you as our foe. Jagged, the Talanimas never understood. Some people are simply too noble to be rivals.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. So then we jump over to Sin and Grub. And
that fight that doesn't resolve in this blip. We return to them later.
I believe so.
Okay.
Why? What did you want to say?
Oh, nothing. Just like they trust her.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, they like hide behind him and it works.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, I think that does resolve here. Yeah. Anyway, so Sin and Grub, they are, they kind of talk about, they have this interesting conversation about where each of them comes from and what made them.
Mm-hmm.
And, they say that they're walking the trail of someone's life, which another enigmatic thing that I feel like I could probably suss out, I don't know. The
only clue that I felt like I had was Sin talking about her blood being on fire.
Right.
The whole thing is very interesting. Grub is kind of like sad and interesting that he feels bad that he's like, Kenan must be so worried about us. Like he's got like more care for these people, and Sin is clearly like a little rebel, little free spirit, and she's like, everybody's fine. We're doing what we need, and we're different than them. We're more important than them. You and I are like the same kind of person, and they'll never understand. Only I understand you, kind of thing.
Yes, and it's very interesting. Like, what does that mean? Like, we're the same kind of and we get to a point where they actually have like magic battle. But before that, she's like, hey, Grub, where did you come from? And he's like, well, the first thing I remember was the chain of dogs. She's like, but you were like 3 years old. You're not supposed to remember any of that.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, well, I do. It's vivid in my mind. And she's like, no, you don't understand. The chain of dogs created you. You are not of woman born, to steal Shakespeare line.
Yeah.
You were literally built up from the dirt and the sticks and the mud and the grime of the chain of dogs. And like, you were filled with the events from that. And that like formed you into a being.
Manifestation.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she's like, and the same thing happened with me. Kalam found me hiding with the bandits, and he carved things onto my soul. And then he left. And then also I was added onto during the fires of Egatan, and that like added onto part feels very ominous. Like this, she was like infused with the fires somehow,
Yeah.
Fire in my blood.
Fire,
and she's like, you want to see? Here's a ball of fire.
Yeah.
And she throws a ball of fire at him, and he like earth benders the ground up.
First, they're like walking through a swamp, and they're like staring at like a big lizard. They're like staring at some big life form that Grub's like, it's gonna come get us. It's gonna come get us. And she's like, what, are you scared? And he's like, yeah. And then they like run, and she like pushes him out of the way and like obliterates it, like just blows up whatever the giant lizard thing is that was chasing them down. She's like, pretty dope, right? And then it's when she's trying to be like, we're the same. And he's like, what are you talking about? And she's like, I'll BRB. And he's like, don't. And she like runs into the trees and hides from him, and then blasts him with a fireball that's like a shockwave. I'm picturing that's like through the forest. And he, I guess, just in natural self-defense, raises a crazy wall of dirt and roots and like just protects himself, swallows the fire, it just goes back down to nothing. And she's like, see? I told you. Same.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Big,
super cool.
High mage energy. Like just floating under the radar.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Nice.
Like instinctual, but it's there. And we knew that Grub was different from the word go.
Yeah.
But I think this is interesting. And I feel like Sin is being positioned as a real powerhouse in the novel that's going to have a big role to play.
The thing that her talking about her blood being on fire, and this it could be way overthinking things, but everything about like the new magics, the new horns, new tiles, whatever it is, plus her talking about her blood being on fire, made me be like, are they walking the footsteps of Cruel? Is she like the new... Is her blood now the blood of the Warrens that is being created?
Ooh, interesting thought. Interesting. Very cool. Love that. Speaking of people inside other people's blood, then we head over to our friend the Ghost / Ghostarium, who's got people inside him, I guess. And
they were relating to each other in some way.
Yes. Yes. And this is another scene where I'm like, what is true? What is not true? What is real? Because he talks about having a wife.
Yeah.
He's like, that's new info.
But even in it, he goes, are these my memories? And I'm like, is he asking that because these are actually the memories of these other people?
Right.
Or because he lost his memories and we don't know? But it like talks about like just horrible, like all the reasons somebody might earn the name Life Stealer, perhaps, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I feel like maybe if I knew who these freaking people were, I would know definitively whose memories those might be if they're not his. But yeah.
He says, my wife, she wanted to hurt me. Why? What had I done? I'll never forget the look in her eyes, her face, when I took her life. I'm like, whoa. What? Okay. But again, it's like, is he channeling somebody else's memory, as you said? I don't know.
And doesn't it, like, in that thing, it's like, what did I do? And then it, like, continues on being like, other than all these things.
Other than all the people I murdered. Yeah. Anyway, he talks about, like, losing time, where he blinks and I lose that time.
Mm-hmm. There's just a lot going on in his little head.
Yes. I mean, interesting stuff. I wish I had more cogent thoughts about it. But I feel like this is one of those, like, just log it in the back of my brain.
Later, I'll go, oh.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. And it's like trying to parse that, and then also, like, what is happening to the people that we know are dead in this building, and knowing like the drone is coming. And interesting because like we saw, I think, from the drone perspective earlier, and the drone was like, people are here, they can't be here, and you're like, oh, it's sinister. Yeah. And then in this, Ghostarium's like, I have to warn them. There's no way for me to warn them because I'm just a ghost.
Yeah.
But they're gonna kill the drone, and then everything will be lost if they kill the drone. And it's like, what? Yeah. So he's good.
Excuse me.
But then they like make the right choices. Does it resolve this? We just have this one scene with them, and then we don't return to them ever, I think.
No, not and not in the next chapter either. So
yeah, so we're here with them, and Ghostarium is like, word that they're going to kill the drone, and then all will be lost. But then Breath and crew, Featherwitch and the others are like having their little bickerings. Two of the folks whose names I forget, and I also don't know who they are from life, are like trying to get a door open by like hammering it with sledgehammers. They're trying to get in and turn the machinery on.
Right.
But then
they're like hammering both sides of it. It's crazy.
See if you can get it. But then the drone appears, and just by nature of the drone coming to the space, it's like, responds to, it's like genetic markers or something. And like them stuff just starts, the door opens and stuff starts turning on. Yeah. And Last immediately is like, hold those guys up there. They're going to come down and for whatever reason, immediately try and kill this guy. But I sense that this is an ally. We want to help you. They're like, you help us? No. We want to help you get this place moving again. And it's like, I don't think it communicates with them. It just kind of like shuffles past. So they didn't kill it. So I guess it's
did not
fine.
Kill it.
Yeah. All is not lost yet.
Sulk it.
Yeah. Sulk it. Yeah.
Right.
That's the drone.
Yeah.
And Last is one of the names of the people is like young, is a baby.
Oh, right. Well, the other thing is that Sulkit like looks right at Ghostarium.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, does it see me? Can it see me? But then it just looks away again, so he's like, which I thought was a pretty crazy moment too.
Interesting.
Yeah. I have no concept of where any of that subplot is going at all.
I'm just like, they're in one of the Change Family buildings, structures. My only thought is, we don't know. My craziest thought is that these structures, they're like, oh, it's something grounded. And that means it's a not sky keep, it's a ground keep, but it's in the shape of a dragon's body. I'm like, does this thing like claw across the ground? Does it move the same way the ones in the sky move? And it's a machine that can actually traverse, but it's also their like where they live. And is that the thing that has blown up the desert right now? Or it's just like, but it's just a building that's a machine. That's sort of where my head is at with these things. And
I think Ghostarium's going to figure himself out at a certain point also. But what happens to all the people inside him? When that happens, I don't know.
Who's inside who? Idea. What's going on?
What's going on? All right, chapter 14 is all about this war that's happening on the way to the wastelands. And it is wild to me how much detail we're getting about all these particular factions, because I feel like my sense of it, and I'm clearly wrong, but my sense of it is that this is all ancillary to the main deal, which is like getting the bone hunters and the Malazans through this area. But Erikson is spending so much time establishing all these parties and all the conflict that's happening with the Bcondo and it's interesting, but I'm like, I don't understand why we need to know about all these factions so much.
It kind of feels like without being necessarily a war. I mean, this is this plus the snake. There's like things that feel Chain of Dogsy to me, but like times 1,000. We're like Chain of Dogs. Right. We understand that there's like a bunch of Kundral tribes.
Right.
There's like the Burnt Tears, and there's the Crows, and then there's the other ones. They have like a bunch of, but they were just sort of Wiccans. The Wiccans. They're like, here's the different names of the people, and they're there, and they're wings to be used in this battle. And in this case, it's almost like the same thing, but having like a little bit of a deeper dive on the different energies. So when we get into that battle, like the different factions mean more to you, or if there's a battle, or like whatever happens, there's just like fleshing this world out so that whatever happens, you like know what you are losing or what you are celebrating.
And it's fascinating to me because the details of all of the different factions is interesting, right? We have these characters, Gaul and Vedith in the beginning of this chapter, who are immediately like honorable, even in this kind of very brutal culture that they're in. They're so concerned with not losing any of their people, even though they're literally just, the purpose is to throw people at the problem, just to throw bodies at, this war is about just clashing and whatever happens. But these guys are like, no, I don't want to lose a single man. Vedith, super honorable.
And just talented.
Yeah.
A talented commander. It is also interesting that they, when we were with the Malazans in Tavor, weren't they like, yeah, they left. They ran ahead and we're like, oh, okay, we got to catch them now.
Yeah.
Because they don't really know what they're in for necessarily. They're just like getting antsy, and they're like charging to try and like, I guess they like the merchants or whatever, the relationship was sour in some way that I forgot what set them off, but they were like already gone. So for people who don't want to lose people, but they're also, that sense of honor forces them to act in a way that is like, we're not acting, we're getting in here and getting something done to pave the way to get there. There's like it's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Super interesting. This first scene with Vedith and Gaul, and constantly the undercurrent here is like, we've learned from the Malazans. We see how we've altered our tactics based on what we see as being very successful strategy on their part. And he says, the side with the people using their brains is the side that wins. I loved that line.
Yeah, I did too.
And then Vedith says, unless they're betrayed. It's like, well, that seems like foreshadowing.
Yeah. Just foreshadowing, but it is also like Coltane and crew getting back to the Empire, and the Empress being like, "You're dead."
Yeah. That's another thing that I love in this chapter as well, is this notion of how important Coltane is to these people and what he represents, and that has become an entire sort of belief system, based on his actions and his sacrifice. It's so cool to have lived through that as a reader in an entire novel 6 novels ago, and then be, have that familiarity, know what it took, and then have other characters be like, yeah, that guy.
Coltane is my religion now.
Yeah. 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 So rad.
Even the fact that they curse saying Bolt's balls, like, isn't Bolt was a character that we were with, and now he's their curse. Or he's like just a part of their language in a way.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to ask a question. What the fight with the Bcondo, they reference like merchants being pieces of trash in a particular way. I had a really hard time recalling what like set them off into specifically being like, you Bcondo pieces of garbage.
Well, didn't they like raise the whole thing? The whole conflict was because they were raising the prices on them and giving them crappier merchandise, right?
Was that these guys? I thought that was other people. I thought that was the people.
I could be wrong.
That was happening with.
But isn't there a whole section in here where he's like or maybe it was last week. The straps are like digging into our skin because they were so crappily made, and they had like.
That was the Parish, but yeah. It must be this. I remember when they said that they had that relationship with the tribes people. I didn't realize we were like, but that was last book that was. We saw that relationship, and then they were like, you pieces of trash. And I didn't realize we were now like in the POV of the people who were like experiencing that and now trying to get them for it. But that must be it. That must be it.
Yeah. Well, we get a lot of detail about how these raids are going to work and what Vedith is doing versus what Shelamasa is doing. And Vedith, worried about his soldiers and, hates that he has to lead them into this like suicide mission, basically. So, lots of detail about that stuff, which, is all feels very set up, very building towards something.
Yeah. And even Gaul at the beginning, like seeing certain like of his war bands sort of going off and like going off with whoots and yips and him being like, shut up.
Yeah.
No, you can't be
Not
tactical.
Excited. Don't be excited.
Yeah.
One of my annoyances, though, I have to say about this is that we have Gaul, Galt, and Gilk all in the same chapter. I'm like, 4-letter G names. Gaul, Galt, and Gilk. So then we have a little scene with Rava and Conquestor Avalt with the Parish. And I thought this part was pretty awesome. This is the part where they talk about the equipment being awful. You're right. It is the Parish. And I love this like exchange that they have where Avalt is like, you're an idiot. I quit. You want me to give my resignation? I do it. And he's like, no. I
don't want your job. I'm not a tactical guy.
Yeah. He's like, we're all going to die. Do you even feel any guilt about it? You moron. And I just love this whole exchange between these two guys. It's so good.
I pulled some part of this because Rava's the guy in the palanquin.
Yeah.
Such a piece of garbage. What a
truly
piece of work. I pulled, I think, big sections of his, not because I'm like, mostly I like try and pull sections. I'm like, oh, this is so meaningful to me. And this, I'm like, listen to this trash. This guy sucks.
Yeah.
And he's written in such a way that I'm like, it's so appealingly just what a piece of work.
Yeah. Well, he's like mistreating the slaves and like, don't, whatever.
And him being like, ugh, only the minimum, like 20 people to like help me out.
Yeah. And his people are literally like passing out, dying. And he's like, carry me, Snape, and and then Avalt just like puts him in his place so good, which is delicious.
Yeah.
All right. And then we head over to Shield Anvil Tanakalian and Mortal Sword Krugava with the Bcondo army. This is where Galt is. And Tanakalian is a real piece of work too. Real sleazeball.
He's the guy who at the very beginning was like, ooh, that guy died, killed himself, and like was sort of cursing the thing. And I'm just, I'm not gonna tell anybody what happened here. Yeah.
But he talks about, wearing masks and witness to the manufacture of delusion, the shaping of a time of heroes. I thought that was all good stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
Really cool.
I think I pulled pieces from there too.
Cool. Okay, then we have then for me, the next two scenes are like amazing and really just make the whole chapter. Again, this just like galvanizes around this, where we finally meet the queen, the Bcondo queen, Abrastal, who is pretty awesome. I think pretty awesome lady.
Confident.
I think she like the first thing we hear from her is I think like her first line is something like what is this shit or something like that.
Yes. Yeah.
So good. Anyway, their interaction, Gaul and Queen Abrastal, they're like coming to this mutual admiration of each other, but the sort of tete-a-tete of their interaction is so good, where he's like, well, maybe I'll have to hobble you. And she's like, you will never use that term with my name again, or I'll cut off your manhood and shove it down your throat, or feed it to my favorite corpse rat, I think she says. So they start at this very like antagonistic place, and by the end get to like, I kind of like you and I kind of respect you. And it's so good.
You're
so good.
A vicious, violent little thing, ain't you?
Yeah.
Bcondo remind me this assassin-ish person who is like, oh, I can't possibly have another suite. I guess I'll have another sweet.
Mhm.
Is she the Bcondo princess?
Yes, she's one of of Abrastal's 14 daughters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh,
Or she's the 14th daughter. I don't know if there's more than 14.
so there's like something about like her and her attitude that like Bcondo Queen coming up against Gaul, we're like, okay, that's like Malazan side. At least for me, it's like no matter what, there's like a comfort there, even when there's like laced with like there's at least with ambiguity and a sort of ambiguous sense of morality between everybody. I'm like, well, Gaul's like the good guy in this. There's sort of like that feeling. And even they coming into it being like, why are we wasting our breath on this negotiation? We're going to kill each other. You're going to die. We've already won. And being like, yeah, get him. But coming to the place of like mutual respect is like very interesting, where even I was like, this is just showing their different flavors. They're not going to actually settle on something. But then they do is like.
Then they do. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
So interesting. And there's so much great tidbits in here. I love how he's like, you know, you're going to have to fight at least one of the two greatest fighting forces of all time. And I'm not talking about me or my dudes.
Yeah.
I'm talking about there's the two greatest are the
Bone
Coltane's
Hunters.
dudes
Yeah.
and the Bone Hunters. And you don't have to worry about Coltane's dudes, but you do have to worry about the Bone Hunters. And she's like, oh.
In which case, have some skin.
Yeah. Awesome that like elevating the Bone Hunters again as like everybody is scared of them. And especially it's fun because when we are inside the Bone Hunters, it's a bunch of goofballs,
Yeah.
you know, like doing pranks. You know,
we're at the top of our game.
Yeah. And the other thing that is interesting is, you know, he's like, I'll tell you what we're going to do. I'm going to give you like all this. I'm going to give you water and food and all kinds of cool stuff. I'm going to give you actually more than you want. And we're never going to see each other again.
Yeah. I'm going to make sure that I know the wastelands better than you. I'm going to make sure that you get the hell out of here by giving you an abundance.
Yeah. And she says, okay, deal. But guess what? When you get to the wastelands, you're going to find something utterly terrifying. And I was, as a reader, it's just like, oh, that's so juicy because we know we're all headed there, right? Like, what's that going to be?
She says like unimaginable horror or like something.
She says terrible beyond imagining.
That's it. Yeah.
And I'm like,
what is it?
I've imagined a lot of things in this series.
I've witnessed a lot of things, so I feel like what I can imagine is pretty brutal.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Such a amazing scene, I thought.
And the thing I love about it is like you see the different posturing before they actually meet up on both sides.
Yeah.
And, you know, the queen being like, watch carefully, everybody, because like if they're pulling anything, we got to like get the jump on them, whatever. And he's like, you two, you look like little guys. Maybe she'll think you're like my kids or something. But you're super capable, super fast. Let's go out there. And then she's
what are you going to do? What are you going to do if she attacks? We're going to give our life for you, sir. And he's like, good boys.
Yeah.
So awesome. Yeah.
And then she, like the whole time, she's like looking at the guys, being like, I can get behind that.
Yeah. Her like winking at that dude on the way out too, where she's like, if it was one of my things, he'd like be embarrassed, but he smiles and is like into it.
I love that. It's like, you don't know what you're up against. Even the fact that you thought you could rattle these little things with your behaviors. And then as she leaves, they're like, you could ask, you know, maybe. She's like, what are you talking about? And he's like, I'm just saying those pups. And she's like, you said watch carefully. And I did. I was watching, honey.
So good. And then we have, the end of that is another of the next two scenes are my pulls because they're just amazing. But the chain of dogs being like, but how could they be the best? They died. And he's like, no. They won. They died.
They gave everything to win.
Incredible. The next scene though, with Gaul and his wife, who's pregnant, and it's definitely not his, but she won't tell him whose it is. And he's being all cagey and like they're like fun, playful, almost spiteful relationship that feels very, built up over many years of marriage. And
they have 7 kids, and she's like, and most of them are yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that, like, his true love for her and admiration for her, and how, she's 5 years younger, but is the more mature one. And he doesn't know what he would do without her, but clearly cheats on him all the time. And it's just like this incredibly beautiful, in like 3 pages, we get this amazing characterization of these two people. I'm immediately in love with them and him. And then my daughter does therapy at this multiple places, but one of the places she does is at the library. So I take her on Wednesdays. We go to the library, and I take her, and she has this private coaching in the library. It's like tutoring, which she calls tooting. It's very cute.
Oh,
it's like, Daddy, am I going to tooting today? Yeah. So I sit in the library and read Malazan while she's in there. And I was like weeping in the library. Just the end of this scene, which I'm going to attempt to read later without weeping, and it may not be successful, is so moving with this son that they lost. It is exquisite writing, and it amazes me how Erikson can continually do this, where just in a couple of pages we have a sweeping tale that I am so familiar with. I love these people. I know what they're going through. It's such an economy of writing that is so impressive to me.
And it builds like their culture, because she like is, as we would say, cheating on him all the time.
Right.
But it's like, she's like, it's a woman, like in her world, she's like, I'm here to have kids. I'm going to have kids.
Yeah.
You can't give me kids anymore. You crush your balls 100 times on a horse and you're almost 60.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not happening, honey. So this being the way of their society of being like, I'm going to have babies. Yeah. And that's the purpose. And it's like, there is like a personal still, there's still have like a human element. She's like, are you embarrassed? I thought this is like not a thing that we've done. There's like a natural feeling to their relationship. It's such a grounded feeling to their relationship, where they've clearly, it feels like they've had, a million fights over the years that were probably, but they've also had 10 million times of just being loving to one another and caring to each other and caring to one another. And like, it just feels like such a real relationship and grounded within their society and their world in a way that you're just like, wow, what a couple.
I agree. And it's like 2 pages, 3 pages.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah. I know. And you have like this very, like you said, beautifully real marriage.
Yeah.
That, there's ups and downs, and it's not just like blissful all the time, but there's real love at the bottom of it. It's beautiful.
And comfort. Even the fact that she's like, as he walks in, she's like super pregnant and like naked on the bed.
Yeah.
And you're like, this Malazan. I've seen somebody naked on the bed being pregnant go in other directions, Solara. What does that mean? Where did that come from? And this being just like the comfort of being like, I'm super pregnant. This is how I am. And it's not like anything more than that. It's just the comfort of a known relationship.
The other thing that happens in this last scene is we get the scout telling us what happened to Vith, which is, it's so jarring, but so it's another one of those wonderful Malazan details of this honorable man, this guy who's trying to protect everybody. Shit just happens, like, and that's what Gaul is like. I could fret about this. I could rail to the heavens about it. Shit happens. It's just one of those things. The horse stepped in a snake hole. What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Like, freak accident, broke his neck, built him up to be this promising. He's not like the others. Wow, what a great commander. Like what he did, we lost so few people. We dominated this thing that he was worried about sacrificing people to. Like, everything about it was great. The person who's taking over that wing of the pincer or whatever it is. She's like, now we're all named Vith now. It's like
Yes. Oh,
his whole arc.
incredible.
I'm still part of me is like, did he really break his neck? He didn't go check. But
Well,
I think it sets up all of the feelings that he experiences of that Gaul experiences being this like sensitive war leader.
The thing that is so one of the many, many things that is so impressive about Malazan that I have learned from reading it is that a subversion of expectation can be as satisfying to a reader as a fulfillment of expectation.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think one of the things that's, you want when you're experiencing a story like this or any story is, build, payoff. And what Erikson does so frequently and to such great effect is build. No, you don't get what you thought. You don't get what you wanted. Something else, but something actually sort of more poignant, or even it feels more realistic, more how life works, where it doesn't always, A plus B doesn't always equal C in life. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it just sucks that your horse stepped into a hole. It just lightning strikes over here and you couldn't have predicted it. And it doesn't play out the way the setup made it seem like it would. It just is how life works. Mm-hmm. And man, to be able to pull that off so frequently and to make that feel satisfying, because it's like, oh, of course, it did feel like this powerful moment of Vedith's death. And to have, like you said, that woman go, I'm going to call my entire battalion Vedith now. It's like, so good. Mm-hmm. So good. Mm-hmm. So again, like these chapters felt very dense to me and all over the place in a certain way of
contexty.
Yes. And then you get these scenes that just like laser focus in and I'm like, oh yes. So good stuff, I thought.
Mm-hmm. Great.
So our passages, I have 4.
I think I have less than that.
Okay.
Let me see here. I have one of them that is like one that I like highlight some of it. And then I was like, oh, I actually want more. Oh, I actually want more of it. Oh, I actually want more of it. So I'm like,
yeah.
I have like 3, but they're like in a row of like a single page.
We may have some
similar ones.
Yeah. That's cool.
I have one. Is this my first one? Oh, shoot. Sorry. If you have one clocked and ready, you should go.
I can start. This is what I was talking about with Badal and, this notion of words. Words held the magic of the breathless, but adults turn away. They have no room in their heads for a suffering column of dying children or the heroes among them. So many fallen, she said to Sadik, who remembered everything. I could list them. I could make them into a book 10,000 pages long, and people will read it, but only so far as their own private borders, and that's not far. Only a few steps. Sadik, who remembered everything, he nodded and he said, one long scream of horror, Badal. 10,000 pages long. No one will hear it. No, she agreed. No one will hear it. But you will write it anyway, won't you? I am Badal, and all I have is words. May the words choke on them, said Sadik, who remembered everything.
Mm.
Now, I don't want to get political, but my God, does that not resonate with things that are happening in the world right now?
Yeah.
With children dying.
And people only caring about politics around it.
Right.
And not just the humanity of caring for people, living beings.
It's just, people will read it, but only so far as their own private borders. God damn. It's like, Well, it's far away from me. It's far away.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to think about it. I don't have to think about the horrors that are happening right this second. Will you write it? Yeah, all I have is words, and may they choke on them. Powerful stuff. Sorry, get emotional. Go ahead.
Do not apologize. I feel it in my heart every day, and it takes everything. It's one of those things that is, reading the book, we're like, escapism! But really, it just makes me feel and think deeper about the world that we're in. And that's just one of the things that makes it all that much more powerful. Well read.
Indeed.
This next one I have is long, but I'm gonna read it because I don't have that many more. Otherwise, I think about highlighting things sometimes, and I'm like, I'll think about it, and then I never return to them. So I've got sort of one long one.
I always have to force myself to stop, even if I'm like, I bet the next couple of pages are still good, but I'm like, I gotta stop and just make sure I remember this one. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I could split it into two.
No, go for it. Whatever you want. You can do a long one.
The crows alone chose who lived and who fell. Prayers meant nothing, deeds and vows, honor and dignity, not one weighed more than a mote of dust on fate's scales. Even he had his doubts about courage. Friends had fallen, one moment in his life and the next out of it, reduced to what memories he could conjure, all the incidental moments that had held little meaning until now. Vith didn't know what to make of it. But he now knew one thing. The warrior's life was, in its essence, a lonely one. And the loneliness only got worse as one came to realize that it was best to hold back, to never draw too close to a companion. Yes, he would still give his life to save any one of them, whether he knew that warrior's face or not, but he would also simply walk away should one fall. He would move on, and in his eyes, the barest hint of lost worlds. 1,000 warriors behind him. He would send them into battle, and some would die, and he hated that knowledge. He railed against it. But for all that he knew, he would not hesitate. Among all warriors, the commander was the loneliest by far, and he could feel that isolation thickening around him, hard as armor, cold as iron. Gaul, adjunct of war, Coltane of the Crow clan, even that Bcondo fool leading his or her unsuspecting column towards an afternoon of nightmarish horror, this is what we share. And it tastes bitter as blood on the tongue. He wondered if the Bcondo king now regretted inviting this war. He wondered if the bastard even cared that his subjects were dying. Or was it just the wound of lost revenues from wasted farms, devoured livestock, and the stolen hordes of wealth that stung him now? And the next strangers to camp on his borders, would he treat them any differently? Would his successor heed the lessons carved out here in bone and flesh? The chain of dogs had fallen at the foot of Erin. Pormqual's 10,000 danced on trees. Leomund's rebel army was destroyed at Egatan. It was clear, it could not be clearer, that for all there was to learn, no one ever bothered. Each new fool and tyrant rose to rise up from the mob simply set about repeating the whole fiasco, convinced that they were different, better, smarter, until the earth drinks deep again.
Yeah. Nobody learns, right?
Nobody learns. And even I, somebody who cares so much, I'm not going to hesitate to send them to their deaths. I gotta.
Yeah. This is a passage of Rava, and I think another one that really explains the sort of political moment we are in right now, in a bad sense.
Yep.
Rava scowled. What had he been thinking about? Ah, yes, the paucity of sincerity that was ultimately at the very heart of political triumph. He had long ago discovered that brazen lies could be uttered with impunity, because nothing would come of exposure should that unlikely consequence ever occur. For even when such lies were indeed exposed, why, in a month or two, the finger pointers would wander off, distracted by something or someone else worthy of their facile outrage. A mean of proper belligerence could weather virtually anything his accusers might throw at him. As with so many battles on a multitude of fields, it was all a matter of nerve.
That was one of mine too.
Oh, sorry, I stole it from you.
Oh, no, no worries at
that's friggin' writ large right now.
So
Writ
real.
large.
So real. My last poll is sort of context that right at the beginning of that sort of chapter section
Yeah.
that I just love sort of setting up Rava as a piece of garbage. Parasols in their thousands, fan-wielding slaves in their tens of thousands. None of this could keep the sweat from the face of Chancellor Rava. He felt as if he was melting in the cauldron of history, one of his own making, alas, a realization that came to him again and again like a fresh heap of coals. He huddled, shivering beneath sodden silks as the palanquin he was in tipped precipitously, the bearers struggling to descend this confounded goat track. Dust had seeped in to coat every surface, dulling all the ornate gilt edging and deadening the vibrant colors of the plush padding. Dust mingled with the taste of his own sweat in his mouth. He even pissed grit, and worse. Not there, you stupid woman, he snapped. The Drazalani slave flinched back, ducking her head. There would be no stirring awake down below, not today. He understood her desperation to please, and this knowledge made things all the more irritating. Whatever happened to proper old-fashioned affection? But no, he'd done away with that long ago, and as soon as he realized that, as much as he wanted it, he wasn't prepared to repay it with all that was expected in such an arrangement. Things such as loyalty, consideration, generosity, those vile details that comprise the pathetic stupidity called reciprocity. He so disliked the notion of expectations. Not the ones he held of others doing as they were supposed to do, but the expectations those others shackled upon Rava. Appalling, the nerve of some people.
It's just, you're an asshole.
You've got tens of thousands of slaves trying to sweat your brow. You have a little sex slave chained up in your like ornate palanquin that you're like the dust.
Ugh.
These jerks. And why would I ever give anybody something that I could just get for myself?
Gross.
Whatever.
Gross.
Nastoid. Yeah. But appealingly so.
All right, I got two more. One's short and one's long. This is the short one. This is like, hell yeah. Highness, although the great Coltane of the Crow clan had many Wiccans with him, he also possessed Marines. Together, they escorted 30,000 refugees across a third of a continent, and each step of the journey was war. Have I misunderstood then, war leader? Did not Coltane fail? Did he not die, and everyone with him? The warrior's eyes were suddenly old. He did. They all died. The Wiccans, the Marines. Then I do not. They died, Highness, even as they delivered those 30,000 refugees to safety. They died, but they won. I was like, yeah!
That's
Say it again.
That's how it should be.
So sick. So good.
Sick. So badass.
All right, here's the one that I will attempt to not weep during. She said, something new comes squalling into the world every moment of every day, opening eyes that can barely see. And as they come, other things leave. I gave that command. I did it myself. Such is a war leader's burden, husband. He fought back a sob. I feel so alone. She was at his side. Taking one of his hands. That is the truth we all face, she said. I have 7 children since then. I have had 7 children since then. And yes, most of them are yours. Do you ever wonder why I cannot give up? What is it that drives women to suffer this time and again? Listen well to this secret, Gaul. It is because to carry a child is to be not alone. And to lose a child is to be so wretchedly alone that no man can know the same. except perhaps the heart of a ruler, a leader of warriors, a war leader. He found he could meet her eyes once again. "You remind me," he said, voice rough. She understood. "And you me, Gaul. We forget too easily and too often these days." Yes. He felt her calloused hand in his, and something of that loneliness crumbled away. Then he guided their hands down onto her rounded belly. "What awaits this one?" he wondered aloud. "That we cannot say, husband. Tonight," he said, "we shall call all our children together. We shall eat as a family. What do you think?" She laughed. "I can almost see their faces all around us. The looks, all so dumbfounded, so confused. What will they make of such a thing?" Gaul shrugged, a sudden looseness to his limbs, the tightness of his chest vanishing in a single breath. "We call them not for them, but for us. For you and for me, Havavat." "Tonight," she said, nodding, "Vith plays with our son once more. I can hear them shouting and laughing, and the sky is before them, and it does not end." With genuine feeling, the first time in years, Gaul took his wife into his arms. God damn it, I'm sorry.
Don't apologize.
It's beautiful writing, man.
It is. Yeah, that one bit of context that we didn't mention in that chapter is how his wife knew Vith as well. She's like, yeah, he used to play with our kids.
The kid that we lost.
He used to play with our son that we lost. And now they're together playing, laughing. It's beautiful.
Our 7-year-old that she says like our golden child or something like that. It's like... Beautiful writing. Apologies. Sorry. Didn't mean to lose myself here. But thanks, folks, for being with us, for reading along. We got 2 more chapters coming next week. And if you have topics for us for the beginning of the show, please don't hesitate to send them dlcfeedback@gmail.com. No better time, I think, to dance than now. That's all we can do to keep it going.
When the world's too dark of a place to be, and you need an escape from reality, open up those pages and start by your fantasy, whatever genre you please. And join a book club, 'cause you won't read it on your own. Join a book club, so you'll be held accountable. It's just a means to an end, but you're doing it with your friends.